All right, welcome back to WMAC Now with your host Chuck Stevenson, coming at you with a full event announcement. So Deep Jewels 45, the full lineup is set. It's going to go down Sunday, May 26th at New Pier Hall in Tokyo. It's going to feature 6 pro fights plus 2 amateur bouts. Now, I had made a video earlier announcing the original 2 title fights. Well, there have been some happening since then. There was a 3rd title fight added, but then one of the original title fights fell through due to one of the fighters in it succumbing to injury. So there's still 2 title fights. It's just that one of them is different than originally planned. And the fighter in the the uninjured fighter in the original title fight that got canceled, she's still on the card. She's just facing a different opponent. So, looking at this card overall, it's a good card. We've got, the 2 title fights are pretty good. Well, the 1 title fight's really good. It's a great title fight. The other title fight's okay. And there's some decent fights on here as well with some fighters that have been very active in Deep Jewels lately. So, let's go ahead and get into it. First up, we have a flyweight bout. Haruka Boss Suzuki taking on Juki, or she's listed on Tapology as Juki Sue. Now, Boss is coming in off of her first pro win. She comes in at 1-2. Juki comes in at 1-1. Boss last fought at Deep Jewels 44 in March, picked up a decision win. Juki last fought in Shudo all the way back in 2020-22, where she dropped a decision loss. She is the younger fighter at 25 to Boss is 29 years old. Boss will be the taller fighter at 5'5", 165 centimeters to 5'3", 160 centimeters for Juki. I'm not familiar with Juki. Shudo fights, they're hit or miss on how easy it is to watch them sometimes. So I'm not familiar with her. Boss started out 0-2, picked up her first win, looked okay doing it. So we'll see how she does in this fight as well, which seems like it should be a little bit of a setup fight for her to get another win here and even out her record. So not too much else to say on this one. Next up, we're going down to microweight. Kimika Jaka Kawaguchi taking on Mahina. I like this fight. I like this fight. Kimika coming in at 3-1. Mahina coming in off of a pro debut. She is 1-0. Kimika last fought, won via submission at Deep Osaka 2024 in March. Mahina made her pro debut, won a decision at Deep Jewels 44 against Kyoka Chibisai. That was in March. I don't have any other info like age or height for Mahina. Kimika is 34 years old. She stands 5'2", 157 centimeters. That's pretty tall for a microweight. She's very, very slim. I was impressed by Mahina's pro debut. Did very well. Showed a lot of diversity in her fighting ability against Kyoka Chibisai. Mahina looked good in her last bout too, so this should be a good one. Will Mahina pick up a second straight win, or will Kimika Jaka pull out ahead? Either way, the microweight division is growing, which is really nice to see because, it's hard to find anyone that small, even in Japan. So when we get some new blood in this division, it's very exciting. So I like this fight. Can't wait for it. Then we have this bout is at minus 59 kilograms, which is a 130-pound catch weight. T.A. Maruyama taking on Momoko Saito. Not sure what the deal is with this. Well, I think I do know what the deal is with this one and why it's at a catch weight. I'll get to that in a moment. So TA comes in at 3-5. Saito is 0-2. Now, her last fight was a no contest. She won. Technically, she won, but she missed weight, so it was marked as a no contest. That was at Deep Jewels 44 in March. TA last fought at Deep Jewels 43 in November, dropped a decision in that bout. Saito is 2 years the elder at 26. TA is 24. They are the same height, 5 feet 5 inches, 165 centimeters. So Saito technically should have gotten her first win in her last bout, but she missed weight, which in Japan means that even if you win, you're not going to win, which I kind of like. I kind of like that because if you try to cheat the scale, it's not going to help you because it's not going to go on your record as a win. And we see that happen all the time in the West where fighters will blow weight. Sometimes it's not on purpose, but sometimes it definitely is. And then they get away with a win on their record, and it helps them no matter what. In the West, like in the US and stuff, you miss weight, it's forgotten as long as you win. Unless it's a title fight, in which case you can't win the title or you get stripped of the title. But if it's a non-title fight, you miss weight and you win, they move on. No one cares. In Japan, you miss weight, you're heavily penalized. So this is likely at 130 pounds to prove as maybe it's like a transition fight for Saito, but it could also be a transition fight for TA, moving down from bantamweight to flyweight. Maybe it serves as both. We'll have to see. So if you're wondering why it's at 130 pounds, that's most likely why. Next up, we have the return of Rin Nakai. She is taking on Namiko Hime Kawabata in a minus 58 kilograms, 127.6 pound catchweight bout. Another catchweight bout. Now, Rin Nakai was supposed to be main eventing this fight or this card against Aoi Koriyama, putting Nakai's flyweight title on the line. Unfortunately, Aoi Koriyama succumbed to injury, could not make the fight. Deep Jewels was really working hard to find an opponent for Rin Nakai. They were advertising, fighters. Are there fighters out there who are looking to fight for a title at flyweight? Unfortunately, they couldn't open it up to foreign fighters because I guess you have to have your work visa 2 months in advance to fight in Japan. That's a little crazy, but it doesn't surprise me. So unfortunately, they were unable to find anybody willing to take the fight on less than a month's notice and fight Rin Nakai, even with the title on the line. So I guess Rin Nakai said, well, if the title's not going to be on the line, and if I'm fighting a short notice opponent, then why should I fight at flyweight? Why make the championship weight? So they made it a catch weight. Unfortunately, that does nothing for Namiko Kawabata, aka Hime, because she's fought so far at strawweight and then moved down for a couple fights at super atomweight. So she went from 115 to 108 pounds. Now she's taking a short notice fight going all the way up to flyweight. Maybe it'll help her. I doubt it against Rin Nakai, who's much more experienced, but we'll see. Anyway, let's look at the stats here. Nakai, way more experienced. 26 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw. Hime comes in with 4 wins and 3 losses. Hime last fought in September, dropped a unanimous decision to Shiyu Park. Nakai hasn't fought since February of last year. She picked up a submission win. I believe that was a non-title bout. No age available for Hime. Nakai is getting up there in age at 37. She is very, very short for a flyweight at 5 feet 1 inch, 155 centimeters, to 5'3", 160 centimeters for Hime. So the smaller fighter is the taller fighter. No reach available for Hime. Rin Nakai is one of the few fighters on this card that there is a reach available for on Tapology at 60.5 inches, 154 centimeters. So her reach is even lesser than her height, which is amazing. Should be an easy Rin Nakai win here. She's not going to get challenged in Japan, at least not against Japanese fighters. And granted, this is a short notice fight, but yeah, this is an easy fight for Rin Nakai. Now we move into the first of two title bouts. Interim strawweight championship. Shiyu Park moving up from super atomweight and atomweight to take on Machi Fukuda, who just fought for the interim strawweight championship in her last fight and dropped a split decision. The fighter who had the title dropped the title or has been stripped. I'm thinking of course, Arisa Matsuda. She was supposed to fight on the road to UFC tournament. Matsuda was, and then that fell through, but she still dropped the title. I don't think Deep Jules is upset about that. I think they wanted Machi to have this title. Why it's still an interim strawweight championship when their strawweight champion Sekizawa has never defended the title in like over 2 years of holding it, I don't know. But instead of a real title fight, we're getting an interim title bout. Anyway, looking at the stats here, Park comes in at 11-5, much more experienced than Machi Fukuda, who's coming in at 4-1. Now, Fukuda last fought in November, dropped that split decision to Arisa Matsuda. Park last fought in December, picked up an easy TKO win over a fighter that had no business being in the ring with her. So both fighters last fought about relatively the same time, but Fukuda definitely had a better opponent. Big age difference here. 20 years old for Fukuda practically makes Park look old at 32. Park is the taller fighter at 5'2", 157 centimeters to 5 foot even, 153 centimeters for Fukuda. No reach for Fukuda, but Park's reach is listed at 62.7 inches, 159 centimeters. So Park definitely has the style made to beat Machi in that she is a striker who has worked a lot on, preventing takedowns and getting up from being taken down. The problem is she's never fought at strawweight. Never. So she's going to be giving up some size to Fukuda. I mean, she's the taller fighter, but she's going to be giving up some weight, most likely. So we'll see how this one goes. Deep Jules, I think, definitely wants Machi to win this one. Personally, I'm a Park fan, and I like seeing promoters' plans blow up in their face. So rather than find an actual strawweight, they tried to pull up an atomweight, a much more experienced atomweight. And we got the age-old Japan versus Korea rivalry here, even though Park trains almost exclusively in Japan now and lives there pretty much full-time. This should be a good one. I like it. It's not bad. I think if Park were an actual strawweight, it'd be no contest. Park would win. But she has given up some weight here. So that makes it that much more interesting. So there is your co-main event. In the main event, we have the double microweight championship. Saori Oshima putting her deep microweight championship on the line against Ayumi Murakami, who is putting her Deep Jules microweight championship on the line. So that's 97 pounds if you're unsure of what microweight is. 97 pounds. I'm not sure what that is in kilos right now. So we've got two champions. both under the same promotional umbrella of Deep and Deep Jewels, but they just have the different promotional belts. The winner will walk away with, I imagine, with both titles. They probably won't, you know, have them be absorbed into each other. I think whoever wins will get both titles, and then we'll have to defend both titles, is most likely. I mean, there's no point in combining them because then you have one less champion to use as promotional draw. I like this fight. If you are a fan of grappling, this is the bout for you. If you are a fan of aggressive, submission heavy style of grappling, this is definitely the fight for you. If you want really great strikers, like phenomenal strikers, you're going to be disappointed in this bout, although both fighters have been working on their striking a lot and improving. Oshima definitely showed some improvement in her last fight against Claire Lopez, showed some improvement in her striking. But this is most likely going to be a very grappling heavy bout for as long as it lasts. And 3 rounds of 5 minutes apiece because it's Japan. They don't do the 5x5 thing. Or, well, Deep and Deep Jewels don't do the 3x5 or 5x5 thing. It's 3x5 for title fights. Let's see. Oshima coming in at 13-4 definitely has more experience than Murakami, who's coming in at 7-1, which is funny because I think they made their pro debut the same year. See, Murakami debuted as a pro in October 2020. Oshima debuted January of 2020. So they debuted in the same year, but Oshima has managed to stay far busier than Murakami. And it's only 2024. They debuted in 2020. 8 fights in 4 years is very good for Murakami. 17 fights in 4 years is amazing for Oshima. Let's see. Oshima's coming in off of a submission win over Claire Lopez at Ryzen Landmark 8 in February. Definitely has fought more recently than Murakami, who picked up a decision win at Deep Jewels 42 back in September. That was for the Deep Jewels microweight title when she won the title. Murakami is the elder fighter at 32-29 for Oshima. They're roughly the same height, 4 foot 11 inches, 149 centimeters for Oshima, 150 centimeters from Murakami. No reach listed for Murakami. Oshima is at 57.1 inch, 145 centimeters, according to Tapology. So as I was saying, this should be a very grappling heavy bout. Should be a fun one too. You know, Oshima has the judo, but has been working on her BJJ as well, going to BJJ classes. Murakami is more BJJ, plus adds in some good wrestling as well. Very strong. Both fighters are very strong. Now, Murakami looks very strong. Oshima doesn't look strong, but she's stronger than she looks. Both are, I would say Oshima is definitely the more submission heavy fighter of the two. She's definitely the more of a finisher. Because out of her 7 wins, let's see, 4 have gone to decision for Murakami compared to Oshima, who out of 13 wins has 4 by decision compared to 8 by submission. So, and 1 TKO win. So Oshima is definitely the better finisher of the two, but both really like to hunt for that finish. And that's why I think this is going to be a very good fight. I would say Murakami likes to really work from top more. Oshima does too, but she's not afraid to work from bottom, even though depending on the judging, that can sometimes work against you. But either way, should make for a very good fight. So there you have it. That's the full lineup for Deep Jewels 45. It goes down May 26th on a Sunday at New Pier Hall in Tokyo. should be available worldwide on YouTube if you are a member of the channel, which I think is like $13 a month. I have sponsored one of the fighters on this card. I've entered a 2-fight sponsorship deal with one of them. Stay tuned for a forthcoming video for that news. Very excited about it. But this is a good card. You know, it's got some newer faces, it's got some old faces, and it's got a good mix of styles here. So Deep Jewels 45 should be a good one, and we're getting 2 title fights out of it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like the vid, please hit that thumbs up. While you're at it, go ahead, subscribe to WMMA Scene Now, the best, most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.